Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back. I'm Fuzz, and today I'm going to be talking about Warner Brothers a little bit here because I feel like they've really been killing it on the physical media front lately. They've been killing it on a number of different levels. They're killing it in the theaters too. I mean, they're totally eating Disney's lunch. There's no doubt about that. But of course, for our purposes today, we're talking about physical media. And, I think Warner Brothers, they seem to be firing on all cylinders and really embracing physical media. They're putting out some great movies on 4K, and they're doing some great restorations as well. Sometimes they're even sourced from like 8K scans of the original camera negative. And they usually make all of their 4K releases available in both standard editions and limited edition steelbooks. And sometimes they might even do a nice, like, ultimate collector's edition, like a big, thick, chunky box for certain titles, like they did for Lethal Weapon or Twister. And on top of that, whatever titles they choose not to release themselves, Warner Brothers will often license out to other boutique labels, like Arrow Video, for example. And they're great movies, too. Like Arrow Video alone has released titles like Demolition Man and Cobra and Swordfish. We got Outland coming to 4K in the not too distant future. And there are a ton of other Warner Brothers titles that have been licensed out to various boutiques that have either already been released or are currently being worked on for future releases. So I figured since Warner Brothers is on such a roll right now, I'd go ahead and throw my 2 cents into the mix for my top 10 movies that I'd like to see get 4K releases from Warner Brothers. Either directly themselves or through like boutique licensing. It doesn't really matter to me. The important thing is that we get these movies on 4K. Just think of this as like my 4K wish list for Warner Brothers movies. And the reason I chose Warner Brothers for this list video is because I wanted to focus on movies for this list that might actually have a chance of someday getting 4K releases. And for all we know, some of the titles on my list today could already be in the works and coming around the corner, and we just haven't received any official announcement yet from Warner Brothers. In fact, we got a new 4K announcement as I was putting this video together, and I actually had to remove the title that came in at number 1 on my list because over the last couple days, James over at In Search of Physical Media reported that Warner Brothers is releasing this on 4K. I'm talking about Eraser. So I'm super excited. Little Arnold action here on 4K. This was the number 1 title on my list today until I found out that it's actually coming to 4K. And so I was like, well, I can't talk about a title that we already know is coming to 4K. I can't have that on the list. So I had to kind of retool my list a little bit. But yeah, this was very exciting news for me. And it kind of just shows how quickly things are moving with Warner Brothers and physical media these days. Now, a quick note here before I get into the list. I am deliberately excluding Dirty Harry and Lethal Weapon movies from this list because I assume they're already being worked on. The sequels are already being worked on for 4K release, because they've already released the first films in each of these franchises on 4K. So I just assume they're working on the others eventually. So it's kind of just a given for me that I definitely am going to want the sequels, the Lethal Weapon sequels and the Dirty Harry sequels on 4K. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get into my list and rock this. Okay, so starting out with my number 10 here, we've got a 1998 film here, and this was a tough choice. My number 10 slot on this list was an incredibly difficult choice. I was debating between about 3 or 4 different Warner Brothers movies for this 10th slot. The other 9 movies, that wasn't a problem. I knew what I wanted on the rest of the list, but for this number 10 slot, I just wasn't totally sure. But I ultimately decided on this one after just watching it last night. It was kind of a game time decision from 1998, Sphere, starring Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, Samuel L. Jackson. This is a great film. In fact, it's interesting because when I first bought this on Blu-ray, I hadn't seen it for quite a few years. I was like, I don't remember it being an amazing movie, but I remember watching it a few times and liking it at the time. But just since owning it on Blu-ray over the last year or two, I've rewatched this one several times, and I'm finding this movie actually has quite a bit of rewatch value for me personally, as is the case with a lot of 90s movies that are like this. So yeah, I'd love to see this one get a 4K release. I could definitely see this being more of like a boutique licensing kind of deal. I'm not sure that Warner Brothers would actually release this one on 4K directly. I could see this definitely being a boutique release, either Arrow Video or maybe like someone like Vinegar Syndrome, or maybe even, Kino or Shout Factory. I don't know. But I could definitely see this one being a boutique release. If Vinegar Syndrome would have put this out, I could see them doing like a cool VSU box set for this, because for Vinegar Syndrome, this would be considered a high profile release for them. Though I'm sure Arrow would do an amazing job as well. And honestly, I don't really care who releases it on 4K. As long as we get it on 4K, I'll be happy. So yeah, for my number 10, Sphere. Okay, and next up for my number 9, we've got a Sergio Leone film here, an epic gangster film that it's always been one of my favorite gangster films out there. I'm talking about Once Upon a Time in America from 1984, starring Robert De Niro, and James Woods is in this. And it's actually got a bunch of great people in it. Elizabeth McGovern is in this, Treat Williams, Tuesday Weld, Joe Pesci, Burt Young. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people in this, and it's just a really well done film. And ideally, if we get this one on 4K, I'd like to get the extended cut if possible. Although I realize that some of the extra footage, some of those extra scenes in this extended cut may not look very good in 4K. There may only be so much they can do to make those scenes presentable on the 4K format. But this is a film I've seen a bunch of times. I used to watch it all the time. It actually does have quite a bit of rewatch value for me. So yeah, I would just love to see this one get a nice, definitive 4K release from Warner Brothers. So yeah, for my number 9, Once Upon a Time in America. All right, next up for my number 8, we've got a 2006 film here. The last film directed by the late, great Richard Donner. I'm talking about 16 Blocks. Bruce Willis film. David Morse is in this, Mos Def. This is a great movie, and I do think it's one of the better later career Bruce Willis films. It's not late in Bruce Willis's career, but it's a little bit just outside of what many would consider his prime. But I thought this was a great movie, and really enjoyed it. It has a lot of rewatch value for me. You got some great action, you got some great storytelling and suspense, and from my POV, you just can't go wrong with this one. It's a great film. And I would just love to see this one get a proper 4K release. I imagine it would look killer in 4K. Get that HDR in there and that increased depth. Yeah, I think Richard Donner's final film deserves the royal 4K treatment. So yeah, for my number 8, 16 Blocks. All right, and moving right along to my number 7 here, we've got a film from the legendary Michael Douglas, and this is one we absolutely need on 4K. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten a 4K release of this one sooner, because you'd think we would have. Falling Down, this is from 1993. I've always been a big fan of this movie. I saw it in the theater when it first came out, and it's one that I can rewatch fairly frequently. Maybe once every 2 or 3 years or so, I will find myself rewatching this. But I remember this movie when it first came out in the theater, and the way this movie was promoted was totally deceiving. They kind of marketed this like it was a comedy of some kind. And, the official trailers for the film when it first came out, everybody went into it thinking it was going to be some kind of comedy. And it really wasn't. It's very much a drama. But a very compelling one at that. It's not even necessarily the type of film I would normally talk about on the channel, but I'm such a big Michael Douglas fan and such a big fan of this film that there's no way I couldn't bring it up, especially in the context of a Warner Brothers 4K wish list. This has a really solid cast as well. In addition to Michael Douglas, you got Robert Duvall in there. You got Tuesday Weld in there again, and you got Barbara Hershey. This film is just a fascinating character study, and it really gives you quite a bit to chew on there. There's quite a bit of subtext and social commentary blended in there, but it works perfectly within the context of this film. But this is, in my humble opinion, one of Michael Douglas's best performances, probably the best performance of his career. So for that reason alone, I think this bad boy deserves a 4K release. All right, next up for my number 6, we've got a 1998 film here that I never seem to get tired of rewatching. This one has a shitload of rewatch value for me. I'm talking about The Negotiator. I've seen this film so many times. I used to watch it on repeat in the 90s, right? Late 90s, early 2000s. It used to be one of my go-to films to watch whenever I wasn't really sure what I wanted to watch. I would often just pop this one on, or if I came across it on cable TV or whatever, I'd often pop this one on. I owned it on DVD back in the day, and of course, I have it on Blu-ray now. Now I'm looking to get it on 4K. A great cast in this one. Samuel L. Jackson. You got Kevin Spacey in one of his better performances, I think, of his career, in my humble opinion. This was actually the film that got my attention with Kevin Spacey. Like prior to this, I didn't know anything about Kevin Spacey, but I thought he did a really good job in this one. I'm not the biggest Kevin Spacey fan outside of this, but he is a good actor. And well, yeah, like I said, he did a good job in this particular film. But I think it's fair to say if we got this one on 4K, it would absolutely be a day one purchase for me. I would not be waiting on this one, not even a week. I'd get it as soon as I could get it in my hot little hands. So yeah, for my number 6, The Negotiator. By the way, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, do me a favor and please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do, don't forget to activate those notification bells as well, so you can be alerted whenever I'm posting videos that you might enjoy. Also, don't forget to like the video and maybe even leave a comment as well. The YouTube algorithm really likes it when you do that, and it rewards the channel with greater visibility when you like and comment. So thank you so much for your support, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, and moving on to my number 5, we got a film here that's kind of a docudrama, but it's also an adventure. It's a film I absolutely love, and it's like so many of the titles on this list, like basically all of the titles on this list. This one also has a lot of rewatch value for me. And I'm talking about The Right Stuff, 1983 film here, about the early days of the space program and the Mercury 7 astronauts. And I've seen this film so many times. I used to watch it all the time on cable TV, and I hadn't actually seen it in quite a few years when I recently picked up this Blu-ray, and I just found myself in the mood to watch it again, to the point where I wasn't willing to wait and see if we got a 4K release. Like, no, I needed to have it now. With a lot of titles, if I can wait and see if we eventually get a 4K release, then I would prefer to do that. But sometimes there are certain movies that I determine I just have to have right now because they're great movies. And this one definitely fits in that mold. Amazing cast in this one. You got Dennis Quaid in this one. You got Fred Ward is in this one. Ed Harris in this one. Sam Shepard is in this one. Lance Henriksen makes an appearance in this. Jeff Goldblum makes an appearance. An incredible cast. And that's just scratching the surface. Veronica Cartwright, she's in this as well. I think I could probably go on, but it really an amazing cast and just an excellent film, and really one of the best films about the space program that I think we've ever seen. So yeah, I think this one, just as a matter of principle, because it's such I think an important historical film, I think this one deserves a 4K release. So yeah, for my number 5, The Right Stuff. All right, next up for my number 4, got a little Stallone action here. And of all the Stallone films that haven't yet been released on 4K, this is the one I'd like to see get a 4K release the most. But there are actually a number of Stallone films I'd like to see get 4K releases. But today, I'm talking about The Specialist from, what was this, 1994. Stallone and Sharon Stone, James Woods in this film. And, I only have it on this like multi-pack set, this like 5-film set here. So I would definitely like to get a standalone 4K release for this movie. I think it has one of the best performances of James Woods' career. I just love his character in this movie. He's awesome in it. I mean, James Woods is like totally unhinged in this movie, and I'm totally here for it. And of course, Stallone's great too, as he always is. It's about explosives experts. And so we've got lots of bomb making going on here. But yeah, it's just a great film. A really cool, but also moody, kind of a moody action flick. Now, while we're on the specialist, I may as well talk about a couple other titles that are included in this that, I'd like to also see get 4K releases. Let's talk about Assassins from 1995. I know I'm kind of cheating for this entry. I'm actually including several titles here. I mean, if I could only pick one of these three films, I would pick The Specialist. But I'd also like to see Assassins get a 4K release, also a Richard Donner film, and just a great film. And I'd like to see Tango and Cash get a 4K release as well from 1989. So yeah, I mean, The Specialist, Assassins, Tango and Cash, those would be my picks for the next Stallone movies to be released on 4K. So yeah, for my number 4, The Specialist. All right, moving into my top 3 here. For my number 3, we've got a 1997 film here with Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, directed by the great Robert Zemeckis. I'm talking about Contact, of course. What an awesome film. I saw this in the theater when it first came out, and, I loved it at the time. I seem to remember this movie being a pretty big deal when it came out. It seemed like it was a pretty high-profile movie at the time. It could just be like the circle of friends I was with at the time. We all were like talking about it at the time, but I seem to remember this being a pretty popular movie when it was first released. And it is a really, really well-done film with just an incredible cast. And I think this one is long overdue for 4K. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten this one on 4K yet. And I realize there's a little like CGI in there that might not like translate to 4K as well. But for the most part, I would think this would look really good in 4K. This movie in general, I think would lend itself pretty well to the 4K format. So I'm hoping we get it. It seems like this would be one that they would be working on. I would have thought they would have released it by now, but maybe they're already working on it. We will see. But yeah, for my number 3, Contact. Okay, and for my number 2, we've got a title I've talked about a few times on the channel before, or at least a couple times. We don't actually even have a decent Blu-ray of this one. So this one is a really high priority for me. This one we definitely need some kind of 4K release, either boutique or directly from Warner Brothers. But this is a killer film, and I'm talking about from 1991, Ricochet. Now, I know I just said we don't have an official Blu-ray of it, but then I put a Blu-ray up there. This is actually like a Spanish Blu-ray. I ordered it from Amazon, and it was one of those Blu-rays from Spain. And honestly, it looks like shit. It does not look that good at all. I was disappointed in this purchase. I bought it. I took a chance on it just to like have this movie in collection in some kind of physical form. But honestly, this looks like a bootleg or like a DVD upscale. It does not look that great. So that just kind of underscores the point even more that we need an updated release of this film, right? I mean, the last like official release we got it on was probably DVD back in the day. And I seem to remember having this one on DVD. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I had this one on DVD because I've always been a big fan of this film. It's one of the first films I ever saw Denzel Washington in. I think it might have been my initial exposure to Denzel Washington might have come from this film. And of course, I'm such a massive Denzel fan. He's like my favorite actor. So yes, please, Warner Brothers, we need this movie on 4K. And I would just be extremely grateful if we could actually get this one on 4K. So yeah, for my number 2, Ricochet. Okay, and for my number 1, also from 1991, a Tony Scott film here, written by Shane Black, The Last Boy Scout, one of the few Tony Scott films not owned by Disney, right? Which is why I had to put this at the top of my list. Of course, I said earlier, Eraser was originally at the top of my list, but we now know that that is coming to 4K, so there was no need for me to include it. So that left my second runner-up in my number 1 spot, and that is The Last Boy Scout. So such a great film. This is a film I like to watch every year around December. It's got a little bit of a slight Christmas vibe there. I mean, it happens during the holidays, during Christmas time. And there are a few indicators of that in this film, but that's usually when I like to watch it, usually right around December as I get into the Christmas spirit. But we need this on 4K because we don't really have that many Tony Scott films on 4K. I mean, we have a few, but we need more. And I'm always going to be an advocate for more more Tony Scott on 4K. But this one seemed like it was the most doable at this time, the one that had the greatest chance of getting a 4K release. You know, of the films that haven't already been announced as coming to 4K, like Crimson Tide, like we know we're going to be getting Crimson Tide at some point. That has actually been announced. I'm definitely looking forward to getting that one on 4K. That was a big one too. But I don't know if there are any other Tony Scott films in the works for 4K. That's the only one that I think I'm aware of at this point. So, you know, I don't know. I just feel like this one of all the Tony Scott films out there that haven't been released yet or that are not getting 4K releases, I just feel like because it's owned by Warner Brothers, this one probably has a better shot at getting a 4K release than some of the other Tony Scott films owned by Disney. But such a great film. I always have a blast watching this one. So yeah, we definitely need The Last Boy Scout on 4K. So yeah, for my number one, The Last Boy Scout. Okay, so that about wraps it up for my top 10. But of course, I also have some honorable mentions. And today I actually have more honorable mentions than usual because there were just so many great titles out there that I would like to see come to 4K that I have to at least mention them. But I'm going to try to breeze through these fairly quickly. Most of these honorable mentions I don't even own on Blu-ray yet. They'd been on my back burner to pick up at some point, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. And of course now, with as fast and as furiously as Warner Brothers seems to be releasing titles on 4K, I don't know that I really want to take a chance and buy too many more Warner Brothers Blu-rays because you never know when one of these films could be getting a 4K release right around the corner. All right, so for my first honorable mention, Under Siege, Steven Seagal. This is one I definitely think we need on 4K, and I would be fine getting like an Under Siege double feature, collector's set or something. That would be cool too. But it's really the first one that we definitely need on 4K. I mean, you got Tommy Lee Jones and the mighty Gary Busey in that film. What a combo! I mean, those two pretty much make that movie. So yeah, I would just love to see Under Siege get a 4K release as well, and it would be a day one purchase for me. I think most of the titles on my list would be day one purchases for me, even the honorable mentions. Then I'd also like to see the movie Executive Decision get released on 4K. The bottom one here, of course, I have a triple feature on Blu-ray, and the other two titles I already have on 4K. So I just need to, in order to retire this triple feature Blu-ray set, we just need to get Executive Decision on 4K. And I was actually just watching Executive Decision the other night. I hadn't seen it in, I don't know, a couple years, and I had a blast with it. I always do. I'm a big Kurt Russell fan, and it's got a solid cast. It's just a really fun action flick. So anytime we get a 90s action flick or 90s, action thrillers or 90s sci-fi action, any of that, I'm definitely going to want to own those titles in my collection on 4K. All right, and then the rest of these are all titles that I don't currently own on Blu-ray. I would just prefer to pick them up on 4K for my first time actually owning them. The first one is Tequila Sunrise from 1988. What a great film. It's got so much rewatchability for me. I actually have a digital copy of Tequila Sunrise, and maybe that's part of why I haven't gotten around to picking it up on Blu-ray yet. I just wasn't in a hurry. But I'd prefer to skip the Blu-ray and just go straight to 4K on that one. Great film from 1988. Kurt Russell in this one, Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer. You definitely can't go wrong with this one. So Tequila Sunrise. Another one I used to watch all the time in the late 90s was The Devil's Advocate from 1997 with the mighty Al Pacino. And you got Keanu Reeves in this one, Charlize Theron. Another great film that I've seen a bunch of times and would have no problem picking this one up on 4K on day one. The Devil's Advocate. And then from the year 2000, another film I used to watch all the time when it first came out, another one that has a real high rewatch value for me, Space Cowboys. A little Clint Eastwood action there, Donald Sutherland. Who else is in that? James Garner. I haven't actually seen it now in probably like at least a decade. It's been a while since I've seen it. And I feel like there's someone else I'm missing in that one. Oh yeah, Tommy Lee Jones. How could I forget Tommy Lee Jones in this one? But yeah, that's yeah, a really fun movie that I definitely would love to see get a 4K release. And I can imagine that it would look pretty damn good on 4K too if we ever got such a 4K release. So yeah, Space Cowboys. And then another honorable mention from 1993, a film I saw in the theater when it first came out, Point of No Return, starring Bridget Fonda. And I know this is a remake of La Femme Nikita. I've never seen the original, so I know, shame on me, but I've just never gotten around to it. But I've always liked Point of No Return. You know, it's another one of those movies that used to play on cable TV all the time. And of course, having seen it in the theater, I was always enjoyed, coming across it on cable TV whenever it was playing. So yeah, really solid film. Gabrielle Byrne is also in this one. Also Dermot Mulroney. I think this would look pretty damn good on 4K. And, it's one I've been meaning to add to my collection on Blu-ray. I just haven't gotten around to it. But again, if I can skip Blu-ray and just go straight to 4K, I definitely prefer that. I seem to remember I did own this film on DVD back in the day, so I've just never gotten around to upgrading it. But yeah, come on, Warner, give us a 4K of this one. And then I've got a 1997 film here that I think I've only seen once. This one, unlike the other films on this list, I haven't seen a whole bunch of times, right? This one I've only seen once, but I remember really liking it, and I'd rather just go straight to 4K and not have to mess with the Blu-ray. I'm talking about Murder at 1600, starring Wesley Snipes and Diane Lane. Yeah, this is one I would love to revisit if we ever got a 4K release, and it would probably be a day one purchase because I remember it being a pretty good movie. So yeah, Murder at 1600. And then from the year 2000, a great kind of kidnapping thriller type movie starring Russell Crowe and Meg Ryan, Proof of Life. And this was a film that I've seen a couple times now, probably at least 2 or 3 times. And I haven't actually seen it in a while. I've never gotten around to picking it up. But when I was kind of looking through my list of all the different Warner Brothers films that are out there, this one jumped out at me as one I would love to own and would have no problem buying on day one on 4K if we were to get a release for it. So yeah, Proof of Life. And then finally, also from the year 2000, is the movie Bait, which stars Jamie Foxx and David Morse. And this is an earlier film from director Antoine Fuqua, who I'm a big fan of, and that's part of why I put it on this list. I'm definitely down with collecting Antoine Fuqua films. I think he's just a fantastic director. And, it's been a long time since I've seen this one. I've also probably only seen this one once, maybe twice. So my memory on it is a little bit hazy, but I do remember really enjoying it and would definitely like to get this one on 4K as well. So yeah, for my final honorable mention, Bait. Okay, so that about wraps it up for my my wish list here, my top 10 Warner Brothers movies that I think need a 4K release. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comments below, and what are some of the titles that you'd like to see Warner Brothers put out on 4K. I always enjoy chatting with you guys and interacting with you guys in the comments, so make sure you leave me some feedback down below. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.